Hello. Hello. Let's do the audio check. Let's do the audio check. Give people time to gather. Hello. Hello. Let's do. It feels a little bit loud compared to the game. I swear I have my microphone down to like 80, so I'll put it at 85. Let me know as we cast some of the games if I am at the audio level of the game. I want to be 2 steps above it. But usually I remember my audio being at 85, and for some reason it was at 94, so I turned it down. Hey, Cyrus. Again, we'll let people gather before I go through the spiel, because I don't want to do it multiple times. Which I know I will end up doing it multiple times, but we can lessen that as much as possible. So let's take a look here. What do we got? Oh, I can fill this out while we wait. Sir Groot, lizards. Raced Tomb Kings. And then what else? Golden Floof on the Dark Elves. Then we have Rainy Frog on the Dark Elves. Sipa on the Dark Elves. Dr. Nerd on Nurgle. And then Strat Game, Bretonia, Rainy Frog, Dark Elves. I know you're like, what the fuck's going on? Hold on. We're just waiting for people to gather so I can explain this as few times as possible. Boop. Boop. Alright, now let's go to this. How do I zoom this in? Oh, I can just crop it. Yeah, we'll do that. Oh, don't want to take from the left one, just take from the right. All right, we'll crop it a bunch, and then I can just expand it. Cool. That's enough of a blocker for my purposes. All right. Hi, everybody. Oh, let's do this. Let's get on with it. Where can I check in, Count Lake? This event is already done. We are casting the event. The event that ran for over 2 weeks. All right. What was this event? What the hell happened? We hosted I wouldn't call it a King of the Hill. So behind the blocker, because I can take that down for now. Behind the blocker, you will see the same 5 builds: Khorne, Tzeentch, Slaanesh, Warriors of Chaos, and Nurgle somewhere. Where's the Nurgle build? There we go. You'll see these same 5 builds over and over again. I contacted a reputable faction main of each faction. So, like, for Tzeentch, I hit up Lenorm. For Warriors of Chaos, we hit up Sir Groot, which eventually Borgash had to sub in because Sir Groot had to go in real life. Nurgle, we had the Longshanks and Grandfather Umbrella. Khorne, we had Pegaz, and Slaanesh, we had Coops. So these guys built a build for their god. Like, this is Coops' Slaanesh build. It's very Slaanesh-y. All of them did that for all of their respective gods, and then I issued a challenge to my Discord where I said anybody can create a single build that they think can beat all 5 of those Chaos builds, right? So this Tomb Kings run from Raced here, you notice Raced has the same build the whole time. So it's like, Race sat down, He thought about each faction, each build, and he was like, what can I make? Can I make one thing that could beat all 5 of them? And I asked that the players that attempted it send me their replays, win or lose, which is why I don't know if I'll need the blocker, but I need the Excel sheet to show people how we're doing. But, you and I don't know if Raced won all of these Tomb Kings builds. We don't know if he won any. I just asked that people send me their attempt. And as a prize for this event, I offered 2 hours of stream time per win of the best run. Right? So if we have... How many people do we have who attempted it? Let's pull up that Excel sheet again. There we go. We had 7 people attempt it. So we'll be casting 7 attempts. Let's say Sir Groot gets 3 wins total. Race gets 3, Golden Floof gets 4, Dr. Nerd gets 3, Strat Game gets 1, Rainy Frog gets 2, and Sipa gets 1. Golden Floof got 4. That would be the most. And I would offer 2 hours of stream for the highest. So if someone beats all 5, I will have to schedule a 10-hour stream in the future. Hopefully, if patch 4.1 doesn't take too long, hopefully it would be just after patch 4.1, so I could just do a 10-hour grind of hopefully a big patch. But we'll see. Anyway, those are the stakes. So my champions of chaos have got to fight their best so that I don't get destroyed by a 10-hour stream. And if, like we said, if the maximum is 4, it'd be an 8-hour stream instead of 10. But if someone can beat all 5, 10-hour stream incoming at a future date. I'm getting messages right now. They had better be pretty fucking important. All right. Yeah, that makes sense to everybody? Someone we all know is the glorious lizards. That's fair. What up, McRedface? All right. So the blocker isn't up there for spoilers. It's just there for the Excel spreadsheet. So we'll start with whoever we feel like. But I did put them in an order where I tried to space out Dark Elves. Didn't I? So we have 3 Dark Elf attempts out of 7. So we should start with some Dark Elves. Let's do Floof's run. Sure. All right, where's Floof's Dark Elves? There it is. Oh, and Floof had the first game of the whole event. So this is fitting. All right. Golden Floof versus the Khorne champion, Lucinia, on our Discord, Pegaz, and Steam. Did I make it in time, Patrick? Probably. We literally just started, so yeah. And Golden Floof's attempt, again, I know you're probably like, shut up about it, but this Dark Elf build was not built to counter Khorne. It was built to handle all 5 Chaos armies. So we have a Charybdis for some anti-large dueling, armor piercing, obviously, but then also the -8 leadership Shriek. I like that tech because some of the factions had demonic units, and that -8 leadership is not something demons can resist. It's just flat, and you can get them at demonic instability a little bit faster. We have Dark Shards, 4 Dark Shards that will be important later. 2 Blackguard, 2 Witch Elves for some of that Rampage support, and then Bleak Swords and Dread Spears, and we have a Dark Pegasus Deathcaster with Fate of Yuna, Spirit Leech, and then also Doom and Darkness for -16 more leadership. So if anything gets close to the Charybdis and gets hit with Doom and Darkness, that's a -25 leadership, which is pretty insane. This Khorne build has Chaos Warhounds, no demonic units, except for the Exalted Bloodthirster. So I was going to say, like, if Fleshhounds or something got close to that Charybdis, they would just die. Alright, for the Khorne build, we'll be seeing it a lot today. 4 Chaos Warhounds, 5 Minotaurs of Khorne, it is the Mino bus, 4 Marauders of Khorne, and an Exalted Bloodthirster. Now you might be like, wow, that is way too many Minotaurs. The 5 Champions of Chaos did coordinate to make their builds difficult for someone to counter, so they're going to be extreme. Like, Nurgle is pretty fucking blobby. Tzeentch has a lot of healing in single entities. Khorne has an intense Mino bus with a lot of Warhounds, and I believe Slaanesh has some pretty solid mobility. So, yeah. They're going extreme because they don't want one build to be good against them all. The Bleak Sword front line is getting massacred right now by the Marauders of Khorne, teamed up with those Minotaurs, the charge taking them out, and even Dark Shards are already under duress. More Chaos Warhounds of Khorne pouring in as well. Things are looking a little rough for the Dark Elves in the early game already. The front line is entirely routed. Dark Shards are not able to sit and shoot. And can the Blackguard, Witch Elves, and Charybdis, I guess, can they carry? Where's the Charybdis? There he is. Oh god, he's not doing well. He's already to half HP. And a Charybdis is not a Hydra. It does not have healing of any kind. He's getting fucked up. Edward Fontaine, what's going on? I just explained it, so I'm not going to explain it again at this moment. I'll explain it throughout the stream, but it'll be a little bit. All right. Khorne doesn't have anything positioned right now to chase down all of these units. These Dark Shards will rally and start turning around and firing. Balance of power is pretty heavily in Khorne's favor, though. I don't know if it's going to matter. Ooh, big sword of Khorne. Big sword of Khorne. Gonna hit the Witch Elves and the Blackguard. They start to dodge now, but it is too late. Lots of damage. A little bit of friendly fire, but Khorne cares not from where the blood flows. That was pretty nice. I'm kind of surprised that 2.5 minutes into the game, they already have a sword of Khorne. That's fucking intense. All right. Minos, realizing that these Dark Shards are coming back, starting to stroll uphill. And I am now realizing this Dark Elf build had 0 cavalry. So once their stuff starts routing, they have nothing that can go get it back. No Cold Knights or anything to bail it out. Dogs are back on the chase after these Dark Shards, as Minotaurs did end up just getting completely surrounded by random chaff infantry, which they don't want to be in. They don't want to fight those Bleak Swords or anything. The only Dark Elf unit that's feeling good right now is the Sorceress of Death, and while Spirit Leech is a good spell, Khorne has significant spell resists, and this Exalted Bloodthirster has a giant health bar, and the Dark Elves are quickly running out of things that can challenge him at all. The Charybdis still can, and some Blackguard technically still can. I've been singing Khorne's praises, but things are getting a little spooky for Khorne, too. They're running out of meat. This Marauder is about to rout, which it just did, so we have 2 healthy Marauders left. A trio of very wounded Minos, and then some dogs that can still chase stuff off, which is pretty good. But this Exalted Bloodthirster is actually going to have to do a lot of carrying. We're going on 10 hours yet? Don't know. Nobody's won any games yet. And it would not be this stream that would be 10 hours. I will have to schedule one ahead of time. Because I gotta go back to work after this. But I am gambling a 10-hour stream on if anybody can beat all 5 builds with one. Dogs chasing down lots of random routing Dark Elves. These Minos still in over their head a little bit, walking away from some Dread Spears. Did you rename the replays from you? Yeah, I renamed them so I can group them. I think yours were just a bunch of random different things. Yeah. Because I think yours were like, what the fuck, something, something, and something, something else, and those were going to be all over my replay file, so I made them uniform. Okay, I'm on lunch right now. Sick? Me too, buddy. I gotta go back after this. Anyway, Bleak Swords get dove on by our friend the Exalted Bloodthirster. He also terror outs off these Dread Spears, and those dogs are going to be eaten real good. Bounce power has come back towards the middle. Khorne really unified his forces in the backfield over there, while the Dark Elves are rallying mostly around the Spirit Leech caster, but we do have some Dark Shards, 2 Blackguard, and the Charybdis. Quick fast forward here, as both sides just kind of regroup their forces. Spirit Leech onto the Exalted Bloodthirster, then Dark Shards are going to tee off onto him. Nice little dodge there. Doesn't have missile resist, he just has physical resistance. Can Khorne finish off the Blackguard? I'd think so, but I mean, these guys are sitting at 68 leadership, so they're not going to tear out anytime soon. The Exalted Bloodthirster doesn't really want to just land in them for now. Dark Shards firing into Marauders. Another Spirit Leech on the Exalted Bloodthirster. Just had a glorious cheesesteak. You should have one too. I don't live in Philadelphia, but thanks for the $10, man. It's very appreciated. As always. All right, Charybdis is in. Charybdis' charge animation's taken through the Marauders. He is going to tear out them pretty soon. Exalted Bloodthirster is chasing around. Ooh, the Dark Elf Sorceress, but another Sword of Khorne comes out. It is going to land directly on the Blackguard, chunking them down at the cost of some Marauders, but that is a trade Khorne will take every day of the week. 2 Swords of Khorne in the first game of the day. I'll fucking take that. I'll take that to the bank. But the Blackguard are holding for now. They are very, very resilient and tough Dark Elves. They don't give a shit about any of this. Now the Charybdis finally gets the fight it has wanted all game long. It is fighting the Exalted Bloodthirster, who is getting Spirit Leeched and rear charged by the Spring Sorcerers of Death. And look at his leadership tank, he's down to 28! If Doom and Darkness was on him, he would almost be Demonic Instability crumbling at over half HP, but he's taking big chunks from this Charybdis right now. And the Blackguard are holding for this moment. Marauders are routing off. The Exalted Bloodthirster is left alone, and dogs are rallying in the distance, but they have to come to his aid. They have to charge in. He is getting massacred by this Charybdis, and he's in Doom and Darkness range. Doom and Darkness. Doom and Darkness. He's going to get back into the sky for now. Dog's going to chase down these dark shards, just buying a little bit of space so the Minotaurs can maybe rally, the Marauders can maybe rally. And if Khorne can take the fight quickly enough, then his Marauders won't terror out again, because they'll still be on cooldown for that. Another Spirit Leech onto him, though. And Dark Elves aren't out of the woods yet. Everything is so low except for the Sorceress, and if she gets stuck in melee with anything on the map, she is going to die horribly. On her Dark Pegasus, she's not a fighter of any capacity whatsoever. Minotaurs are routing before rejoining the fight, so the Marauders were just left alone and routed off. Dog's going to try and go for a rear charge, but that -8 leadership on the Charybdis is still going to be a big problem for these guys. They probably have to engage at the same time as their Exalted Bloodthirster, but he is not in range right now. Blackguard getting danger low on leadership, on HP. This Blackguard has 13 health, and the Exalted Bloodthirster is landing. It looks like he's going after that Charybdis. Big rear attack on it, and if he can rout that guy off, that's the last big anti-large duelist. But a Spirit Leech is on him. The Charybdis is turning to fight. The Charybdis routs off. If he can hold, which he can, his leadership tanks. He kills the Charybdis. That gets rid of the -8 leadership. His leadership rallies. Fuck yeah. He was gonna crumble without that shit, but the Charybdis is down. Blackguard barely clinging to life. The Exalted Bloodthirster is trying to fuck off. He doesn't want to fight in the middle of those guys, but he might have to. He might just want to turn and battle, even with the Sorceress, because she's just like such a melee combatant. But he needs to get back in there. These dogs can't hold. That Blackguard's down to 2 HP. Still not routing. He's going to fight to the death. Looks like all of them are. This Bloodthirster's got to get back in the action. The Marauders should be able to grind out the last of the Blackguard, though. That'll leave just the Sorceress, and Khorne will defend his throne for game 1, it looks like. All the Blackguard are gone. It is officially just the caster. Another Spirit Leech onto our boy. Can't see her health bar past all the nonsense, but he's going to hit her like a truck, man. Balance of power is actually heavily in the Dark Elf's favor just because of how healthy their caster lord is. She's so close to routing. Oh, Witch Elf's still on the map. Okay, didn't even notice they existed, but alright. Horn of Khorne is popped, giving all these guys some buffs, but as long as they don't chain route or something silly, combat-wise, they should be able to win it. Bloodthirster's putting on a clinic. What is that? A Doom and Darkness onto the random Marauders of Khorne, shattering them off. Don't know if that was a misclick or intentional. We would have to ask the Golden Floof. But like we said earlier, that Bloodthirster's having a great old time. And that was spooky. That was a little spooky. All right. For anybody who hasn't realized yet, I haven't watched these replays. That was a little spooky. That Charybdis put in some fucking work. Holy shit. Blackguard also did amazingly. Witch Elves, mostly got run over. Dark Shards mostly got run over. And the front line got run over. But man, that Charybdis. That fucking Charybdis. For Pegaz, a surprisingly low damage value on his Exalted Bloodthirster. I thought he was in a lot of good fights and doing good damage, but I guess not. Minotaurs of Khorne also struggling to get really good damage values. The dogs did great, and Marauders did surprisingly well. Alright, where are we at? So we were casting Floof. We did FL1, so let's delete that. And again, the blocker isn't for spoilers. The blocker is just so we can keep track throughout the day. Alright, So let's go to Golden Floof, Khorne, give him a 1, and then my total updates because I'm a math genius. Boop. And we'll do another of Golden Floofs. Floof 2! The Unholy Nurgle Blob. Now, while Khorne and his Minotaurs and his dogs rolled over those 4 Dark Shards like nobody's business, the Dark Shards will be very, very key in this matchup. We saw this build previously, so I will just hop over to the Nurgle build and let you all see its glory. We have 5 Nurglings, one of which is the Frolickers Bubonic. We have 3 Exalted Plague Bearers of Nurgle, a Soul Grinder of Nurgle, Kugath Plague Father, and a Cultist of Nurgle on his shrine. That is a lot of demonic units. That is a lot of demonic units. The Charybdis leadership debuff is going to be great. The archers, if they can stay online and fire, are going to be fantastic. And all this infantry is going to suck and die. When fighting against Plague Bearers, Kugath, and a healing Mortis engine, well, AoE healing from the Cultist, AoE Mortis from Kugath, those infantry just are not going to be able to get much done. This game is on the back of the Charybdis and the Dark Shards. Oh, wait, and I just gave... Hold on. I'm fixing it behind the scenes. Khorne won versus Golden Floof, so he didn't get a point. I know. Damn it, listen, you're already calling me out like a dumbass. You're not a dumbass, I'm a dumbass. I'm sorry, I did dumb stupid. You won, Lucinia, I know. Anyway. Soul Grinder currently working with Kugath to try and punish the Dark Shards since they know that is the biggest threat to them, and that was a huge volley from those two combined. Almost routes off the Dark Shards. Dark Elves finally getting into range as the Nurglings are pulling back towards Kugath. They don't want to take a melee fight away from his Mortis engine effect. We're all still dumbasses. It's a team effort. Because without Kugath's support, then the Dark Elves will do a lot better in melee. Oof, a Fate of Bune onto the Festering Stooges, countered by a Fleshy Abundance. That's kind of funny. Your health goes up, your health goes down. Alright, but here comes the Charybdis, and now you're going to see its effectiveness, man. As soon as it touches the front line, some of these Nurglings are going to start fading away. The Frolickers Bubonic almost fading away from its presence. And the Charybdis is a really good anti-large duelist versus the Soul Grinder, the Cultist, and Kugath. So that's really, really cool. That's a neat tech piece for this event. Dark Shards are in range now. Nurgle's time to play is over. Things are going to get a lot trickier now. The Charybdis is already half health. The Soul Grinders with help from the Dark Shards. The Cultist trying to block some of those shots. The Frolickers Bubonic just now falling beneath the crumbling point, but a Fecundity will keep them in the game for now. But a Spirit Leech paired with the Charybdis is just demolishing this Soul Grinder, and more Nurglings are fading in the distance. Now, Nurgle is still up on the balance of power. I actually disagree. I feel like things are going very well for the Dark Elves. Soul Grinder is disintegrating a little bit. There he goes again. As long as that Charybdis keeps after him, he will keep disintegrating away. So big piece of balance of power for Nurgle is currently in trouble. -1 leadership. Plague Father's Oration cannot keep him in this fight, and he will get finished off over there officially. Some Nurglings are chasing down Dark Shards, but Witch Elves have rallied in the distance to try and bail them out. The bounce power is still Nurgle favored. Dreadspears, Blackguard pouring in to try and deal with Kugath as Kugath slaps our Charybdis friend around. And the Cultist is left out to dry as Dark Shards are going to rally and shoot at him. Festering Stooges already almost heal capped. Witch Elves did catch those Nurglings. They'll fuck them up pretty good. A math genius, yeah. Quick Spirit Leeches onto Kugath. They know he's probably going to heal cap, so might as well get it started. And the Charybdis is joining the fight once again as that anti-large duelist to start smacking around the Plague Father. Plague Bears have rallied near the Cultist for that AoE healing. Dark Shards and Witch Elves still trying to get rid of the Frolickers Bubonic, who are proving to be a bit of a nuisance. Wolfblade We'll probably host more. I'll do some upgrades because this is our first time attempting something like this. Holy shit. A Fecundity plus an Overcasted Fleshy Abundance is going to be some nuts healing, especially on these Exalted Plague Bearers. Anyway, Wolfblade. We'll host another one. This one lasted 2 weeks, which was definitely too long. I think if I did it in the future, I would do 1 week or just a weekend. But yeah, because some of the players that were playing these builds just played against so many people. I didn't get all the replays from everyone. I just got the replays that people sent in. There were people that tried once or twice and then just gave up that we're not going to have their replays today. But man, the champs who played these games played so many fucking times. They were like, I never want to play this build again. All right. Anyway, Kugath's healing cap has appeared. I don't know where the Cultists of Nurgle's heal cap is. The Festering Stooges' heal cap has been hit. These other Exalted Plague Bearers still have healing left to go. With the Charybdis still poking them down, slapping them. With Blackguard quite healthy, and we do have a lot of healthy Dark Shards still around. I think this is a foregone conclusion. I will hit the ×2 button. Unless something crazy shifts my perspective of what is going on here. But Kugath's about to heal cap. And that seems to be about it. I see it. I see it. Don't yell at me. I see it. Charybdis kicks the shit out of Kugath. And a Fate of Buna onto the Festering Stooges. The second Fate of Buna this game. The Dark Elf build was defeated by Khorne. So we already know it's not going for the 5-0. But it is 1-1. All right, Strat Game with the $50. Thanks for everything, Hubs. Cool event. Dude, I am undeserving, but thank you so much for your constant support of the channel. As we could see from the start of the game, the Charybdis and the Dark Shards were big winners. The Blackguard did better than I thought they would, but the rest did not very much. For Cool Umbrella, the Plague Father did great. Soul Grinder struggled a bit, and then all of his demand. So we've been a little busy, but I am organizing Faction Face-Off, just launched today. So we'll have another one of those streams when those players complete that. We have this event we're casting today for the Champions of Chaos. If people can get a lot of wins, we'll have a 6, 8, or 10-hour stream ahead of us, hopefully with patch 4.1 launching. But I'll do what I have to do. We have a stream this Saturday for an NA versus EU event. I might be streaming Sunday for a 4-fun tourney for Lucinia, unless he finds another caster, which is fine. I had him put me on a backup. And then I'm organizing a Nations event. We have 8 national teams competing. So we have West NA, because it's Canada and USA. West NA, East NA, South America, Spain, France, UK, Italy, and then the Mercenaries. I believe that's 8. Mercenaries was just, there were some German players. There were some players that I didn't know what country they were from, but I knew they were in Europe, and I knew I really wanted them to play in the event, so I just got together these last people. And we'll have a little tournament. Actually, I could just show you that bracket for now. Challenge, because it hasn't started yet, so the bracket isn't spoilers. Yep. There is that. So we'll have best of 5s between all those regions, and I told them it starts as soon as patch 4.1 drops, whenever that is. So yeah, we got some really big events for you guys coming up. A lot of good entertainment if you like Warhammer 3 land battles. And I think that's why Strat was donating. Anyway, enough distractions. We're on to Floof Game 3 versus Tzeentch, the most dreaded of all the opponents. Why haven't I been invited to a team yet? I don't know, man. We've seen the Dark Elf build 2 previous times, but the Tzeentch build. Now, once again, these guys, my selected representatives, this one is Lenore, trying their very best to keep my wrists nice and healthy, trying to avoid a 10-hour stream. We have Kairos Fate Weaver with Regrowth and Blue Fire, a Soul Grinder of Tzeentch, the Mutalith Vortex Beast, the Shrieking Skyrays, Knights of Immolation, Doom Knights, and then Zongor's Blue Horrors galore. The Chromatic Abomination's my favorite regiment for now of Tzeentch. So, this is a pretty sweaty Tzeentch build. It's pretty sweaty, and a lot of players who designed their builds probably focused most on Nurgle's Blob and Tzeentch's Heal Kite. That is probably what most builds really sat and thought about how to beat. No offense to the Mino bus, no offense to the Slaanesh build that's coming up, no offense to the Warriors of Chaos build, but these two, the Tzeentch and Nurgle builds, are the most extreme. You have to agree. Am I mainly into land battles? I am, yeah, 99.9% land battles. I am just not very good at domination, and I also just don't enjoy the game mode as much, but if you do like domination stuff, there's the Wild Platy and there's Turin. I know those two channels cover domination stuff, so they got you covered, buddy. We don't talk about Bruno. Yeah. But, yeah, if you are looking for domination content, always happy to shout out those guys, Turin and the Wild Platy. Okie dokie. Blue Horrors firing in onto our Bleak Swords. Bleak Swords finally got a battle, which is all they really wanted. They know they're going to get kited, so they just wanted to find something, and Witch Elves are going to get torched by these Blue Horrors of Tzeentch. We have pretty high missile strength for being a hybrid unit, but none of it, it's almost 0% AP. But Witch Elves don't have any armor or shields or anything. Their physical resistance not helping them versus the magic of Tzeentch, and already a whole Witch Elf is dead. Shrieking Skyray is trying to get out of a fight so they can get away, get their shields back, but a Fate of Buna will follow them and maybe get them to demonic instability crumbling. We will see, but Witch Elves still having a horrible time versus Blue Horrors. That is the second Witch Elf. You're not seeing a repeat. It's just a different unit in the same situation. Doom Knights look like they're trying to rock drop on top of the Dark Shards, following them around. And the Charybdis is also getting shot pretty badly by that Soul Grinder, who is below half ammunition. The Mutalith Vortex Beast is being held in reserve for now. Lenorm is keeping it back until he can kill all the Dark Shards and take that Charybdis out. Then he can walk the Mutalith into combat, but he might want to duel with the Charybdis because he's also an anti-large duelist while being a Mortis Engine. That's a little unique, and he does have regrowth with Kairos on his team. So things are looking a bit rough for the Dark Elves. They're already down in the balance power, and I do agree. Lenorm is handling this kite quite effectively. And the Chromatic Abomination still firing at the Charybdis, already below half HP, and some Zongors have gotten to the Dark Shards in the back line. Shutting those guys down, making sure they don't get too many shots off. What up, Strix? How you doing? There is no domination of bossing, say that shit's pretty funny. Avatar: The Last Airbender quotes. Kairos doing Kairos things, diving into Dark Shards, trying to disrupt them, then he gets chased off by the Supreme Sorceress of Death, but that leaves the Knights of Immolation free to dive in onto the other Dark Shards. And the Shrieking Skyrays did receive a regrowth. They did not crumble away, so far the Dark Elves have really not made any inroads on the Tzeentch army. Everything Tzeentch cares about is still alive and well. Maybe some Blue Horrors might crumble, but otherwise this is looking to be a bit of a clean sweep. Soul Grinder now shooting at a Gaze of Fated Sorceress of Death, just trying to get a little bit more damage out onto her, mixed with Blue Fire from Kairos. Here comes the shot. The net wears off. She can dodge, and she tries to, but still takes a blast in the face. It's looking doomed. This shit is looking ogre. Oh yeah, there's two Blackguard. That won't matter, but I appreciate their gusto. Yeah. Tzeentch build having very little cavalry. I mean, you have the Knights of Immolation flying cav, I guess, but little other cavalry. They will have a hard time chasing down anything they've routed off. And as you can see, this is why Lenorm was playing so cautiously with the Mutalith Vortex Beast. Even through its shields, it took 1/5 of its HP on one volley from 2 wounded Dark Shards. Like, he has been so careful about staying out of their range with this thing until the late game. But the Soul Grinder plus Blue Fire Kite is going to take out the Sorceress of Death. Looks like one more Blue Fire will deal with that. And then it is going to be doomed. Because I don't think Blackguard can deal with cycle charging, healing, Mutalith Vortex Beasts, and stuff like that. Shrieking Skyrays dive in. Do route off the Dark Shards. Going to take big damage, though, from our friend the Charybdis. And as we know, and I've talked ad nauseum, he has the Abyssal Howl, -8 leadership, so they need to be a little careful. The Shrieking Skyrays are a regiment of renown. They're very good on leadership. They're chilling. Nice sideways Blue Fire. Going to take out more Dark Shards. And the Soul Grinder is out of ammunition. That's one little happy thing for the Dark Elves, is now he's just kind of a meh melee combatant. And Kairos not committing one more blue fire on the Supreme Sorceress of Death does mean that the Dark Elf leadership for now is going to hold steady. We love elves burnt alive. Elves are a very popular faction. My hatred of them is not the public view. I'm gonna play it ×2 for a second, as looks like blue fire is coming for our friend, the Sorceress, who actually dodged. Really nice from Floof to land her at that moment. We do get some cycle charging from the Flying Cav. Charybdis chilling out. A tier 3 Tzeentch army ability thrown on the Blackguard gets a lot of damage onto them, even unnetted. And last, the Dark Shards that wasn't routing now is... Oh wait, there's this little guy. Hello. Hello, friend. But it looks like Tzeentch also noticed he's here, and he is getting charged immediately, which means all the Dark Shards will be routing. And the Mutolith Vortex Beast is, in the end, just going to take the fight with the Charybdis. He doesn't give a shit. He doesn't give a fuck. He's going to take that thing out on his own with army losses. I'm being pinged. Why? Okay. Tzeentch defeated the Dark Elf build. It is 1-2 now. And you can now see really the crux of the challenge. You have to both prepare in a single build for Tzeentch Hard Kite and Nurgle Hard Blob. And then some balanced builds in between. So my Champions of Chaos thought very carefully about how to make this a challenge. And not too easy. Because you don't want to make things too easy. Then it's not worth a 2-week challenge. Alright, Golden Floof, 2 games left. Can he redeem himself and at least get above 50% with this build? It will have to start with Slaanesh and Coops. I did do, yes, I put a 0 there. Coops, the first sighting of the Slaanesh build. This has the most cavalry out of anything so far. 2 light cav, 2 heavy cav. A mix of light and elite infantry. And the Exalted Keeper of Secrets. Because Coops is a silly, silly person. Is it going to be part of the Rumor Tower stream, or is it just determining the length? This is determining the length. This is determining the length. Alright. For the Slaanesh build, we saw it in the load screen, but we have Chaos Knights of Slaanesh, the Eternal Entourage Heartseeker Regiment of Renown, 2 Hellstriders with Hell Scourges, and then a mix of Devoted Marauders, some with spears, some with swords. And we have 2 Exalted Demonettes of Slaanesh, one of which is the Bringers of Beguilement, and an Exalted Keeper of Secrets of Slaanesh with Acquiescence and the Lash. On the other side, the Dark Elf build we have seen so far. No real need to go into it. With Slaanesh, you will not get the silly long game shenanigans of either the Blob or the Kite. They are going to run at you and get it over with one way or the other. Dark Shards teeing off. In this build, the Dark Shards probably won't have too much of a home. This one will rely mostly on the Charybdis, getting those Demonettes to disintegrate. And then, honestly, the stalwart frontline of the Dark Elves is just going to have to hold. Those Witch Elves and Blackguard will have to do really good work, because I don't know what else can do it here. Good Fate of Buna start on the Bringers of Beguilement. Once again, if the Charybdis can get a good charge onto them after that Fate of Buna, they could quickly Demonic Instability crumble. And the Bleak Sword frontline is holding very well for right now. Those spears running straight into it and just getting stopped cold. Demonettes also taking a lot of damage, but here comes the Cavalry of Slaanesh. Great damage from them onto the Witch Elves, though they will get soon rampaged. It's what can Slaanesh do in the meantime, as the Bringers of Beguilement and the Eternal Entourage are pushing straight through these Dread Spears, already down to half HP for those guys. Dark Shard still firing in on the area, though, helping out, and Chaos Knights of Slaanesh look like they're about to get into the cookie jar, though their Hellstrider support has already routed off. Dark Elves doing very well in the front line for the first time here. Exalted Keeper Secrets is now in, now that most of the Dark Shards are distracted doing other things. Oof, but I'm already getting very concerned. She has to take a fight with the Charybdis. Chaos Knights of Coops doing a really good job stopping a lot of Dark Shards, but there's just not the killing power here. As we can see, Slaanesh is getting pushed off in several different avenues. And there's a lot of very full green health bars still on my screen. So disrupt all you like, you still have to outgrind the Dark Elves, which isn't something that's normally hard to do, but if you're Slaanesh, it can be. We played Dark Elves so many times. I know, dude. Of the people that submitted their replays, we have 7 people. 3 of them played Dark Elves. Nice lash of Slaanesh. The Exalted Demonettes are getting some good kills. Some good kills. But the Eternal Entourage already fading away. Bringers of Beguilement not looking so hot. And the Dark Elves just have so much left. Poor Slaanesh. Poor Slaanesh. If anything was routing, Slaanesh is capable of keeping it routing, and they're trying to do that, but so few things are actually going anywhere that it doesn't seem to matter too much. Dread Spears and Blackguard huddling around the Charybdis to be just fine. Some Dark Shards are still capable of firing even, and they might poke down the Bringers of Beguilement enough to get rid of them. Maybe. Why am I being pinged again? Alright. Deal with it later. First Slaanesh, the only things really left to them is a full health Chaos Knight and a full health Exalted Keeper of Secrets. Everything else has faded. And the Dark Elves still have a full health Charybdis. They have quite healthy Blackguard. Oof. And they still have a Fate of Buna to finish off those Chaos Knights. And I say finish off despite the fact that they were full HP. Because a Rampage into a Fate of Buna is not very good for the soul. And that'll leave just the Exalted Keeper all alone. And I think we all know how this one goes. Despite the fact the balance of power is like, maybe she could do it. She cannot. I guarantee you, she cannot kill all this stuff. She does fade away. And the fate of Golden Floof's record sits in the hands of the Warriors of Chaos. Any Norska? I don't think anybody did Norska for a combined build. Dark Shard's pretty good value. Everything else spread out. For Coops, it was an admirable attempt. But the Slaanesh front line cannot hold up to the Dark Shards, Dark Elves, or Dark Shards, honestly. All right, I will update the little score thing while the last game loads. Boop. Does this Dark Elf build break even or not? Also, you might notice the map's different. Originally, I wanted to do it on this map. And then the players told me that this map, even in a for-fun event, the players told me that this map just sucks way too much. And they were like, bro, change it. And I was like, fine. But I wanted to do this map. Alright, that would have been so cool. For a fucking challenge the Chaos Gods and you have to enter the blood and lava arena. It'd be so awesome and so neat. And I was here for it. But then the players were like, this map is straight dog shit. Please don't use it. I think this is the only game today we'll cast. Edward, have a good time at work, man. And the stream will be here for you when you're done, either in VOD or still going. I don't know. See how long it takes us to get through all these things. You know where to find the channel. All right, for the Warriors of Chaos build, we have 2 Chaos Warriors with Halberds, a front line of Marauders, 2 armored Chaos Trolls, no, 1 armored, 1 not. Archaon the Everchosen with Burning Head and Spirit Leech, and then some Marauder Horsemen, Horse Masters, the Horsemen are of Tzeentch, and it looks like 2 Chaos Knights of Slaanesh. What up, Segos? How you doing? And Archaon is currently hiding behind the Fountain of Blood. So much blood. What's the bet for today, human boy? Hi, Platty. I popped in on your stream last night. You were playing Cathay, I believe. And then someone in your chat was talking about 5,000 models. I think it was Iskander. But today, there are 5 Chaos builds. Another Fate of Buna under the Chaos Knights of Slaanesh. 5 Chaos builds. You have to create 1 build that can beat all 5 of them. If someone can beat all 5 of them, I will do a 10-hour stream in the near future. And if they can't, then I don't have to do shit. Anyway, Dark Elves advancing up into the pool of blood, trying to fire at these Marauders, who are wading through it. That is some watery blood, by the way. The blood that's coming out of the fountain looks pretty good, but the blood in the pool, when you zoom in on it, it actually is just fucking red water. That's funny. Anyway, Chaos Knights of Slaanesh setting up the flank skirmish cav 2, trying to get in here. Where are the Fate of Bunid cav? The half health cav are over there doing fine. And these Chaos Trolls advancing a bit ahead of their infantry support. Thankfully, it's not into spears, but it's still not going to be great for them as a nasty burning head from Archaon goes down the tightly packed formation of the Dark Elves. He himself is ducking and weaving, trying to get in there. Probably going to avoid the Witch Elves, who will rampage his Chaos Trolls right in front of Dark Shards. Dark Elves are pretty happy with these first engagements. Chaos's cavalry component is about to join. They can get a good charge onto Witch Elves. Witch Elves have low mass and low armor, so they'll take a lot of damage from a charge just like that, even if they're braced. Ooh, the skirmish cav joining the fight, though, they're going to rampage pretty instantaneously if the Witch Elves get a single hit onto them. How else is it going? Chaos's Marauders are unfortunately staggering into the fight. They haven't all shown up at the same time. More Chaos Knights trying to fight these Dread Spears as accidentally go under the map. We have more Marauders and Chaos Warriors and Halberds, but Chaos in general seems to have hit this box at 3 separate times, which is not what you want. You want to hit everything at the same time. And that's a good burning head, going straight towards a clump of Dark Elves, and it starts to curve a little bit, but not enough to get that really juicy hit, but still got rid of some Dark Shards, which is mostly what the Chaos Forces wanted from it. Chaos Knights of Slaanesh still alive, still here to chase down anything. Also, what's wrong with this map, and I knew this one ahead of time, but there is one routing point for the whole map. It's right there. Everything from this map has to route off that single point. So if it starts routing, it's going to run in that direction because that's the only place to go. It's a bad map, but I wanted it because it looked cool. Charybdis trying to route off these Chaos Knights of Slaanesh and Marauders. With support from Blackguard and Nagron, they will be able to do that just fine. Archaon's still in here fighting some random Dark Shards, and the Deathcaster's staying above it all. High and imperious as she be. You think you saw a koi fish in there? You did not. You didn't see nothing. Liar. Alright, what are we doing? Ooh, Burning Head comes in at an angle, bounces off back into the Bleak Swords, going to probably shatter that unit. More Dark Shards routing. It looks like now all of the Dark Elf Dark Shards are off the map. And Chaos is controlling this corridor. The corridor to the only routing point on the entire map. Anything that comes here, it looks like they've got it completely swamped. Another Fate of Yuna onto the Chaos Knights of Slaanesh. Don't know if it's the same one that got the previous Fate of Yuna treatment, but they're not enjoying it either way. And Archaon's going to get out of here. Dark Elves are getting their forces together. The Blackguard, the Charybdis, all these things should be able to stabilize formations. And it looks like Chaos is just going to be focusing on killing off all of the routing units. A nice little Searing Doom from Archaon onto the Blackguard, who dodged it pretty well. Bye, Patrick. I mean, the stream will be here for you if you want to catch the VOD later. Shit happens. Dark Elf slightly up on the balance of power. I would tend to agree. Chaos Warriors and Halberds are fighting Blackguard. They are getting a downhill charge, though. That'll help them a little bit. And Murderous Mastery is going to wear off in 7 seconds, which will really help Chaos out in their staying power in this game. Chaos Warriors and Halberds almost routing, though, from their proximity with the Charybdis, and a nasty Burning Head from Archaon going down the line. It's going to hit 4 units! Oh! It's doing so much damage! Even to the Blackguard, who are super armored. God damn, that was a beautiful Burning Head. Archaon's so happy about that. He's just sitting over there, smug as a rug. Anyway, how else are we doing? Some Dread Spears have been allowed to rally. Chaos Trolls, after regenerating for a while, are rejoining the fight. The armored Chaos Trolls have been here the whole time. Chaos Warriors with Halberds in the distance finish off some Bleak Swords. And are the Dark Elves going to be able to withstand? They still have a half-health Blackguard. Another Blackguard that's just chilling. Charybdis is above half HP, and their caster is full health. For Chaos, I mean, Archaon's looking a little worse for wear. They still have a lot of skirmish ammunition on what cavalry they do have. And their infantry component is mostly down to a couple wounded Chaos Warriors and Halberds. Another Spirit Leech onto Archaon. His time is very limited right now. I think 3 more Spirit Leeches and he's just dead. No counterplay there for him. What can he do in that time? Another Searing Doom trying to hit the Blackguard. Good dodge from Golden Floof, but it is a quick casting spell, so it'll still get some poke damage on them on the way out. Chaos Troll's not having a good time versus the Charybdis. It is anti-large, all that stuff, yada yada. We've talked about it ad nauseum, but also their low leadership. It makes them even more susceptible to its -8 aura. One of the Blackguard actually does manage to rout, though, leaving us just with the caster, the Charybdis, and the other Blackguard. Chaos still have above 2/3, just above half, 2/3, somewhere in there. Chaos Warrior. Their other Chaos Warrior is going to tear out from the Charybdis, standing right next to it. There's one of those Spirit Leeches I mentioned, limiting Archaon's time on this planet. If he has his cooldowns up, he might want to just run in and Slayer of Kings and fight or die, because he is going to die. 2 more Spirit Leeches, and that is a dead boy. Another Searing Doom trying to catch the Blackguard. This time they don't dodge nearly as quickly, and they do get caught with a bit of it. Still more poke damage, which is nice. And the Tzeentch Skirmish Cav lowering their armor by 10. Not a big deal, they still have 90, but you take it. Trolls are back in, and those Blackguard are having a terrible time fighting all alone. Chaos still has a half-health Halberd unit. And Archaon looks like he is going for a fight. Fight or Die is popped. Where's Slayer? We need Slayer of Kings as the Charybdis descends upon him. So does the Deathcaster. This is it, Archie. This is your time to get whatever you can done. Chaos Knights of Slaanesh charge in. The Blackguard of Nagarond are actually going to route another Spirit Leech onto Archaon. That will be the death of him. We'll see if he can even swing one more time on his way out the door. There are no Dark Elves nearby at all. And the Blackguard have shattered. Archaon's routing, but he has 3 leadership, so he will come back. And the Charybdis is stuck fighting Halberds. He's not enjoying it. He's also getting skirmished down. Down to 50 armor from that Marauder Horseman of Tzeentch Fire. Marauder Horsemasters, Marauder Horsemen sitting nearby. They're trying to rout the Charybdis, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to. And Archaon does rally. If he can throw out a quick Spirit Leech somewhere, that would be appreciated. But nope, he routs as soon as he rallies. Probably just due to the sheer number of people nearby that are all routing as well. Charybdis still forced to fight these Halberds, not enjoying it whatsoever. Starting to rout. There it goes. It is just the Dark Elf Sorcerer of Death versus a half-health Chaos Warrior with Halberds and a bunch of Skirmish Cav. And balance of power is significantly in the Dark Elf's favor. It loves a Lord with high HP. It loves a caster with high HP, and she is both. Nice Spirit Leech onto Archaon is probably the best balance of power move you could get here, just to do what damage you can to her right now. But counter Spirit Leech, he dies. The Charybdis also dies. It is 1 Dark Elf lady versus all of these units of Chaos. And they are now routing because Archaon died. A lot of them are shattering, but we have a 3,600 health Halberd unit versus a 2,200 health random-ass caster. What up, Floof? So the Dark Elves are just going to escort off all the people they can. They just don't want to fight these Chaos Warriors with Halberds just yet. Chaos Warriors with Halberds going to chill out, wait for her to come back. They have 2-to-1 on her HP-wise. They have 100 armor, where she has 40. They have 30 and 42 melee stats with a bonus versus large of 19. She has 39-30 with no bonus versus anything. This is an easy win for the Chaos Warriors with Halberds. There's nothing the Dark Elves can do. They have lost. Unless they have Fate Abuna. Da-da-da! Army losses! Yay, army losses. Ruining games that are still very much winnable since 1965. Oh, God. I knew it was coming because one of the players had already told me about that game. But it's so fucking funny, man. Just looking at that, you're like, yeah, that Dark Elf caster, unless she has Fate Abuna, she is just completely fucked here. And the game's like, nah, call it. This shit's over. Hey, yeah, we have a kitty cat. Look at Mr. Muko. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. So that is the end of Golden Floof's run. He went 3-2. Pretty respectable. And let's get some lizards. I know we have some lizard fans out there. It looks like our Lizardmen player, Sir Groot, only got around to fighting 4 of the factions, so already we know that the maximum win is 4. Let's start off with some Slaanesh. Yep, we started with some Dark Elves because there's a lot of Dark Elves today. We're going to space it out. So here's a new challenger. Has to fight the same 5 armies, but he has a very different take on it with the Lizardmen of Sir Groot. Why nobody used red spears? What red spears? What are you talking about? What's happening? All right. For this new challenger, we have 4 skink skirmishers. 5 skink skirmishers, damn. 3 Saurus warriors with spears. We have a Kroxigor, and then the Sacred Kroxigor Regiment of Renowned Cohort of Waddle. A Life Slan with Dwellers Below and Earthblood. And then 2 Ripperdactyl Riders, with a 3rd being the Clawstone Hunters. As I swallow incorrectly. We've seen Koops' build before, but only once. So as a refresher, 2 Hellstriders of Slaanesh, a Chaos Knight of Slaanesh, Eternal Entourage Heartseekers, the Exalted Keeper of Secrets of Slaanesh, and then 5 Devoted Marauders in the front line. Sir Groot mirror when he plays Warriors of Chaos. No, we had Nulnish step in for him because Sir Groot had to leave for a week. And then when he came back, he busted through some games on a Lizardman build. Khorne Warriors with Halberds. Oh, I see. Yeah, those guys are actually really good. The Khorne Chaos Warriors in general are actually quite solid. 4 Chaos Warriors. I mean, they still have weaknesses. Lizardmen trying to kite back. Ripperdactyl Riders diving in onto Koops' Hellstriders. As soon as they got to fight with these little skinks, they get torn to pieces. Ouch. Acquiescence on the Clawstone Hunters as the Chaos Knights of Slaanesh are going to try and charge in and get a little bit of revenge. That 8 melee defense will not be doing them any favors. And more Cav is committing to this fight. They're just going to pile on and try and snipe out these elite Lizardmen units, which I can understand. Meanwhile, Saurus should be able to beat the brakes off of these Devoted Marauders who are just walking at the skirmishers trying to protect the more fragile units of the Slaanesh army, which is all of the Slaanesh army, but oh well. Clawstone Hunters also engaged with the Exalted Keeper of Secrets, and Slaanesh is probably gonna win this blob fight. Probably. I mean, they have a better surround. They have extremely elite units. You'd hope they could win it. Eternal Entourage not having the best time, and the Life Slan has rejoined the area. Hellstriders Slaanesh thinking about just chasing off the Skink Skirmishers. As the other Kroxigor is trying to rejoin the fight, the Bringers of Beguilement are also here to chase off the Life Slan. It looks like they're trying to get onto it and rampage it to keep it out of the fight. But the Lizardman healing is proving to be too strong, and a Banishment's coming down. No, that's Dwellers Below. This is turning against Slaanesh very quickly in this fight. Dwellers Below is going to finish off the Eternal Entourage. The Chaos Knights and the Hellstriders are already gone, leaving just the Exalted Keeper of Secrets. And the Lizardmen, they lost most of their HP on 2 Ripperdactyls, but healing is a hell of a drug, and it looks like they'll be all right. The basic Kroxigor that was full health a second ago is already almost dead as Bringers of Beguilement have torn it to pieces, but a rear charge from the Cohort of Waddle has already taken those guys to half HP as well. Skink Skirmishers firing in onto these poor Slaanesh units. And the Exalted Keeper of Secrets is currently getting torn apart by the Ripperdactyl Riders and the Clawstone Hunters. Things are getting spooky for Slaanesh. On the far side, some of their Marauders are getting a good fight against Skink Skirmishers, but not against the Saurus. Their last hope is in these Exalted Demonettes, which is not going great for them. Actually, I mean, the Exalted Demonettes are doing fantastically, but it's just like one among too few. The Exalted Keeper of Secrets is getting slammed down, and it will start crumbling soon. There she goes, demonic instability for her, and when the Exalted Keeper dies, it'll probably be army losses for Slaanesh. There it is. Lizardmen 1-0. Good start. for the Lizards. I'll put Slaanesh as a win. What did they not even fight? They didn't fight Nurgle. Okay, so I'll put Nurgle as a 0, so I just don't have to keep thinking about that. Alright. Alright, let's get it out of the way. Tzeentch. Tzeentch is coming.